Hi everybody! So today I'm filming a little tutorial for you with some tips on how to get the most control with your Dyson AirWrap. The thing I could say to maybe not do if you're not getting the results you want is don't let your hair air dry too much, before you start. I know that a lot of people have said, let your hair dry until it's 90% dry. And honestly, if there's a problem area in your hair that you're struggling with to control, letting it air dry will only have it misbehave the most. So the way I suggest getting the most control is to start on that hair when it's wet. I struggle right here in the front with these like swirly little cowlick things and like everything that's going on over here.
So to rework my hair, I'm just spraying it down with water.
I know you want to go right in there with your AirWrap, but you can't. If you need
more control, this is what I'm going to suggest to you. I'm going to suggest taking one of the brush attachments first.
But when it comes to having a little more control in the front, which brush attachment do I actually choose? This is great for rough drying the roots if you like what the roots are doing. If you don't, it's not so great because you don't have a lot of control with something that has such a wide range of airflow. So I'm not going to choose this one. I'm going to either go with one of my round brushes or this flat brush. If I want to get a tighter grip on the hair, I'm going to go with one of these. When I need more control, I don't want to rush. I want to slow it down as much as I possibly can so I really dry it exactly how I want it to dry. So I'm actually turning down my airflow to low, and I'm going to keep my heat setting in the middle. Now I'm going to turn it on, and this is going to give me a little bit more time to work the root area because it's a problem. If it wasn't a problem, I would air dry it with this guy, but it's a problem. So I'm going to take a little bit more time and address it, knock it out, and then I'll finish the rest of my blowout.
Okay, we got our cotton bangs. Looks good to me.
And now the most important part that gave me the most problems is out of the way and it's good to go. Now I'm going to move on to the rest of my blowout. I'm taking down my first row from about an inch above my ears all around my head. Okay, so say my texture is not as smooth and straight as this. Say I have naturally curly hair, naturally wavy hair. I have frizz-prone hair. Maybe I have gray and it's wiry and coarse. So I can't use the AirWrap attachment up here. It gets too puffy, it's too wide. I want it to be a little more tame. I really just want the curls on the bottom, right? So what I'm going to do is dry half of it with the brush to about here, the root, and then I'll attach my AirWrap attachment and curl the ends, and this will give me a lot more control.
Going in with my round brush attachment, and I'm using my free hand to keep my section as flat as possible. I'm coming in on all angles, and I'm really focusing from the roots to the mid shaft.
Now I'm going to go in with this little guy. Not first, but now I will. I'm going to make sure that up here is all the way dry because I'm not going to go back over that with the AirWrap attachment once I attach that baby.
To decrease frizz, you want to make sure you maintain tension and hold that section with your free hand. Hold while you aim your open air attachment from the roots towards the ends and get all the remaining moisture out. You want to make sure it's 100% dry from the roots to the mid shaft before you attach your AirWrap attachment. To avoid volume, I'm holding the ends and making sure I keep the hair close to my face.
Okay. This area is 100% dry. This area is still damp. I just attached my large AirWrap attachment, and now that my roots are dry here, I'm going to go in and just curl the ends. My heat is on medium, my airflow is on low. If you want now, you could bump up the speed a little bit. So I am going to pump it up to the middle one, middle heat, and middle airflow. And I'm going to polish off the ends.
So with my large barrel AirWrap attachment, I'm going to work my way from the very ends up to the middle of the hair shaft, keeping my hands on my section. That way I can feel when the hair is fully dry and I can turn my AirWrap off and let my curl down.
That's what this guy looks like. He's straight at the top she's straight at the top with a little bit of a curl at the bottom. Close to my head, the silhouette is long instead of wide. Now I'm going to continue on through this section, curling everything with that same AirWrap attachment away from my face.
And since we want a little more control here, I'm gonna hold these sections pretty low to not give them any width and keep them nice and long. I'm working my way up to about the middle of the hair shaft and kind of turning my AirWrap more horizontal. This is going to make sure that I don't start the curl any higher than my chin.
So pretty already. See that? Okay, I'm gonna switch to this side. I'm going to start with the round brush attachment at the root to really make sure that I have control over these roots. They don't get puffy, my silhouette doesn't get wide, and I have control so I don't have any frizz or curl at the root. So I'm going to turn my airflow back down to low because that gives me more working time, and I'm going to keep my heat on medium. And here we go. I'm just going to blow dry out to my chin area, first couple inches of hair.
So to get the most control, I'm coming in from the top and pulling the brush down first. Never letting go of the ends, and I'm rolling the brush to create tension on every side of the section. If you're having trouble getting smooth results, make sure you're coming in at every angle, every side of your section, and use your free hand as a background so that your hair can't expand on the brush. The air isn't blowing the hair too far off the brush. Keep it as flat and one-dimensional as you can, and that'll make it really sleek and smooth for you. If you have a lot of frizz, make sure you're rolling the brush and really getting good grip and good tension on your section. You want to try not to lift it up or pull it too far away from your body if you're avoiding volume. And then when I think that section's dry,
Switch to the open air attachment.
So to control it, you want to make sure there's really no moisture left in that hair section. I'm going to switch to my open air attachment, continue to hold the ends, pull down on my section, actually pull down with my hands and keep my section pretty close to my face and aim my blower down. This is going to give me sleekest results.
And once I feel like this area is really dry, because I'm not going to go over it again, I switch to my AirWrap large attachment for the other side. Now I'm going to bump up my airflow again to medium and keep my heat setting on medium.
You want to hold your section 4 inches from the ends. And sometimes if the ends are not wrapping, it might be because the section's too wet. Also, another trick to get more control is to slide the hair back and forth.
Sometimes I'll even let it out, stretch it out again, and start over. Because I feel like, I don't know, this could be better. If I didn't start with a good grip, it's not going to dry again. So.
Keeping my AirWrap below my chin.
Yeah, I'm going to take my next section. I don't know, and I'm taking about 2-inch wide sections for my AirWrap.
Now I'm just working through my second row from the ends to the mid shaft of this whole section, everything back.
Hello, I'm over here. I'm over here. Hello, hello, hello.
Look at how nice and pretty. Next section. And I'm going to start with my brush attachment.
Now we're going to repeat the same exact steps we did on row 1. If you struggle with extra volume or puffiness, start brushing from the top down, not the underneath up. And you always want to use your other free hand to keep the hair section as one-dimensional as possible. Keep it as flat as you can against that brush. That's going to give you the smoothest results. For maximum smoothness, roll the brush and use your hand to keep it as flat as you can. And And when row 2 is dry from the roots to the mid shaft,
I'm going to switch to the open air attachment again.
I'm just going to make sure there's absolutely no moisture left in the roots.
Now I'm going to switch back to my AirWrap attachment.
And again, for my longer silhouette, I want to make sure I don't start my curl up too high, so I'm holding my AirWrap horizontal at my chin and just making sure it's fully dried before I let my curl down, working all the way towards my face through this second row.
You can see that it starts off much straighter and then turns into a loose curl at the ends, just at the ends, with the larger AirWrap attachment. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this side. Well, now we're at our last section, which is the top. So we've done our bottom row, our top row, and now we're left with this little section on the top, which is my natural hair. So if my hair were a little kinkier at the root, which my natural hair is straight, however, for tutorial purposes, I will be pretending that it is not. So I would wet this down because it has probably dried a little. So I'm probably going to wet down the roots. I just split that in half because I've already done this section in the front. So I really only have 2 horizontal sections that I'm going to go across the part with. And I'm going to start with my large round brush attachment again. And I'm going to come from the top down. That's going to be my first motion.
This is a good trick for people who have cowlicks in the crown. You don't want to ever lift it up at first. You always want to brush it down first. That gives you the most control. That way it doesn't split. Once the roots are dry, you can use the tip of the brush to roll the ends around and then gently let the ends off so you have a soft curl at the bottom. Now I'm going to wet down my last section here.
And I'm going to start from behind my section, low airflow, medium heat, and I'm going to keep these roots pretty flat. I'm going to bring them towards my face.
Keep your section as flat against the brush as you can, and once you feel like the roots are pretty much like 90% dry there, you can come at your section from all different angles and even marry it to that first section. Grab it all together, use the tip of the brush, and roll back. Gently let the hair fall off the brush and separate where it wants.
Okay, now I'm pretty happy with this, but let's just say that you thought this was too curly now. This is too curly now. My hair really takes the curl. It doesn't want to loosen up on the ends. How do I get it to be looser on the ends? Easy. Unattach this guy. Put your flat brush on.
All you need to do to loosen it up is switch your AirWrap to high heat, but keep it on low airflow so the hair is not blowing all around. And from the last turn of the wave, insert the brush, keep your free hand against it, and just let it slowly come through the bristles until the ends are softened. Such an easy fix. You can use the same trick up here at the top if your curtain bangs or wings came out a little too curly on the ends. You can just smooth them out, make them a little straighter. Just guide it through. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side so it matches and the ends are a little bit straighter. I'm going to insert my brush on the last turn of the wave, keep my free hand against it, and slowly let the ends pass through until they fall off the brush. And same thing with these little guys. They came out a little too curly for me on the end, so I'm going to use my free hand and guide the hair all the way back, just like that.
These are the finished results. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful. I hope these tips help you achieve a smoother, more controlled, less frizzy, less puffy blowout, maybe even less curly blowout. And if you have any other issues using your Dyson AirWrap or any other of your hot tools and you're not getting the results you'd like, please let me know in the comments below so I can help you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.